Parcel carriers and general rate increases. Joining us today to speak about that is John Haber, Chief Strategy Officer at Transportation Insight. John, it's great to see you once again. Welcome.
Great to see you as well. Thanks for having me once again.
John, I guess I want to put on my consumer hat right now and ask you this question. Why should I pay attention to the GRIs, to the general rate increases, that are being published by the parcel carriers? Why is that of a concern to me?
Well, it's a concern for both shippers and consumers because FedEx has just recently announced their 2023 rate increases, and they're the largest in history. Overall average announced rate increase on the product side and service side of almost 7%, 6.9%. But if you look at the surcharges, there are over 20 surcharges that are increasing double digits. And so you combine those increases with the 7% increase, and you're looking at massive increases for both shippers and consumers. And if the shippers are taking increases, they're going to pass those on to the consumer.
So if I'm going to be shopping, so to speak, for shipping costs, how is all of this helping me knowing about these rate increases? Tell me what I need to do there.
Well, knowing about them now, you can plan in advance. You're going to need to know this information as you're developing your budgets for 2023, but you have time now to act upon the information. You have time to go out and renegotiate and go look at different options. So there's a lot of time right now to plan ahead and try and offset and mitigate some of these substantial increases. If you wait till next year, it's too late.
And when are these going into effect?
It's going to affect the last week of December.
Oh, all right, so it's almost upon us because we right now are in the peak season, which is to say we're ending, coming up on the end of the year. And then that's when they're going to hammer us.
Yeah, but we're in mid-October right now, so there is time to approach at least FedEx right now. UPS has not announced their rate increase. Post Office has announced their increase. Their increases are much less problematic than FedEx's.
Mm-hmm. Do you see this as a trend that's continuing, or is this just going to be one and done, or what?
No, I think it is a trend that it's been going on for a long time. We anticipated very large increases this year, especially with FedEx's earnings warning that they put out a couple of weeks ago. They missed earnings by a substantial amount, and so volume's dropping, but they're going to need to increase their revenue per piece in order to offset these volume losses and build out the investments that they need in order to build out their infrastructure. So we were expecting these increases. UPS has a labor negotiation coming up with the Teamsters. We're expecting very large increases from UPS when they announce here shortly.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about another kind of increase. Let's talk about a moderate increase, if you will, in carrier capacity. How is that helping, or how will that help the supply chain?
What we're seeing is more capacity that's available. Parcel carriers in particular were strapped. Last peak season was very problematic. On-time performance was very poor in some cases. We're seeing the amount of e-commerce volumes, we're seeing the growth there decline. Shippers are going back to the stores. They're buying in stores. They're buying online and picking up in stores. This eases some of the capacity constraints within small parcel. In the long run, it should help carriers negotiate some with more capacity. There's also a lot of new providers that are popping up almost on a daily basis, whether it's regional carriers, postal consolidators, last miles, crowdsourced delivery providers. There's a lot of options that are popping up that will help us as we move into 2023 and beyond.
We talked about a trend in rate increases continuing to whatever extent. What about in the capacity that we're just now talking about? Parcel carrier capacity, is that's going up, if however modestly. Is that a trend that you see continuing?
It is. It is a trend that we see continuing. Right now, I think you see that there are carriers that can kind of artificially control capacity, so they can kind of pull back the capacity they have and not offer it. But as more carriers move into the game, that is great news for shippers and consumers. So you look like a laser ship, an on-track combining force with a new transactional lane that covers almost 75% of the U.S. That is great news from a capacity standpoint for shippers and consumers.
John, it's great information. It's valuable information, I guess I should say, that you've given us about preparing for these rate increases. But I want to turn to something else right now. Somebody watching the interview may not be familiar with Transportation Insight itself. So if you would, take a moment, just give us a little idea about what the company does, what's its focus, and how are you helping to optimize the operations of those folks that you're working with?
Sure, absolutely. Yes, we're one of the largest non-asset providers of multimodal transportation services and warehousing services in the U.S. We've got a new digital platform called Beyond that we've launched with visibility from port to porch. We're really trying to match capacity along with between carriers as well as shippers and provide visibility across all modes of the supply chain within the U.S. We take a hybrid digital approach, and what I mean by hybrid digital is that it's not just technology. It's a combination of people and technology. You need both. Those, the firms that are telling you that you can move everything to technology, that's just not feasible. You need people to help solve problems along with the technology. And Transportation Insight is one of the best in the business at adopting that hybrid technology while helping companies provide visibility and solutions to get their goods where they need to be on time and build a sustainable competitive advantage for our customers.
Recognizing that you need people as well as the technology, valuable information right there, and certainly an incisive look into just how the industry works. John, I know you're busy, but you found time to speak with us. Thank you very much.
It's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me once again.
Good. John Haber, Transportation Insight, talking with us today about parcel carriers and the coming increases in rates that all of the carriers are beginning to publish. How are you going to be prepared? Thanks for watching.